there it is. Couldn't find my ball. Okay, so want to just release the wrists a little bit. So we're just going to do a little bit of palm down. And you're just letting the reverberation come through. So just doing some wrist release. It's just kind of like a flop and a drop. So you're not lifting and lowering the hands, you're just letting them drop. And then you're going to turn palms up. This one's a little bit harder because these are the flexor muscles. So it takes a bit to get these ones to come in. Okay, and then flick the goo. Good. We're going to open and close. Reach through all the fingers and the thumb. Yeah, there you go. Okay, and then just let the whole arm shake out. And then you're just going to grab a ball, just one, not the two, but we're going to go into that one in a moment. We're just going to roll the hands out a little bit. So you can roll palm and palm. You can even take the hand in the ball if you want and roll it on the floor. So another option. We'll continue up all the way to the shoulders, so it's quite nice. And then you can also roll through forearm. So you can go into the hand. You can see my hand is quite soft. It's just caressing the floor. Ah, good. And so you might have to sit different ways because some of you are noticing that body's like, I can't get down far enough. Yeah, so I've got one leg in, one leg out. Okay, you might even have one leg up. Okay, so I want you to do palm of the hand down. So just getting palm of the hand flexors. And then you're going to do palm of the hand up. Okay, so these are your extensors. Yes, that's the one for you, Candace. So you might find, I find, because a lot of us, right, are doing, some heavy lifting, or we're doing weights, or we're doing computer work, or we do a lot of stuff with our hands. So extensors. So this motion, yeah, right? So I kind of noticed, especially in one of mine, that I've got a little bit of bunching in my muscles in my fascia, like here. And I'm like, oh, yeah, whatever you want to call it, it's a little stuck, right? And so remember, if you have a stuckness here, you might feel that you get some tension in your hand, or it might go in your elbow, or it might go into your chest or your shoulder. Okay, so it all appears differently for us. Good. Uh-huh. I haven't done this one in a little bit, right? Yeah. So go soft. Hey, you're only increasing the pressure when you start to feel the body soften or any sensation starts to diminish or lessen. This is a really good time to out the mouth. Yeah. And then arms are saying, don't forget about my upper arms. So you can go into bicep and tricep. Just want to do some myofascia release on the body today. And then if you want, if the body goes, oh, wait, we're all connected, and the end of this line is all the way up into the chest. So you might even go through and yeah. Um, Other options, so this is one that I've been doing a lot at home, is you can lie down for this one. And I love when you extend the arm, you can go through and then you can travel through the upper part of the armpit, which is so nice. So that connection through the shoulder into the bicep. And so you might feel, oh, wow, there's something here, maybe around the cap of the shoulder, which is the deltoid, into the chest, maybe through the sternum. Okay, so be soft. Uh, Notice, do I need any support behind head? So that's there for you. Yeah. So once you finish that whole one side, I just want you to lie there. Just let your ball even just go off to the side. And then just take a little note. How does that whole arm, so I did my left, compare to your right? I'm just going to walk through studio. You're just hearing me walk through for a moment. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. And your body's saying, I need more. So I'm going to provide it for you. Good, good, good. Hey, then you're going to go into, and I'm just going to switch some lights around. Hold on. The other side. So you do not need to sit up for this one. You can just roll over. So for me, because I'm doing right arm, I'm rolling on left side. Okay, so just going to give you another option to do this. Some of you might even have a bolster and you want to pop it under your head. So one way to do this in a kind of relaxed way is to be on your side body. So whatever arm you're rolling, that arm is your top arm, top side facing ceiling. And then you can just start to roll through hand. You're more than welcome to sit up if you want, but just giving you a different option here. Yeah. So you're gonna, yeah. So whatever arm you're rolling is on your top. Yeah. And you're gonna go through hand and then you can flow into forearm. So that's palm down. And let your hand be relaxed. So as you flow the ball from the palm of the hand through the wrist into the forearm, specifically the flexor muscles, if your palm is down, I want your palm to be very relaxed. So you're just gonna kind of let it slide along the floor. Yeah. Hmm. So some of you can feel as you go into the flexor muscles. Notice how your palm of your hands floating off the floor. And just try to let it come down to the floor. But at some point, when you touch the flexor muscles, you'll be able, your hand will go from being in the air to being able to touch the floor. So some of us have a lot of holding in our wrist. And then when you do the underside, you will need to come up a little bit because it is a little bit tricky. But you can just come up on the, bracing yourself on the forearm of the lower side. And then you can do palm up. And these are your extensors. Yeah. And you want to, Catherine, you can go, I feel like if you twist your arm the other way, yeah, there you go. Does that feel better? So yeah, so if you come up just like me, hmm and turn, there you go. Then you can get it. Yeah. And then it doesn't create too much of a twist in your shoulder. It does, yeah. Yeah. So you take your time. Hey, you can't always lie down when you go into the other side. You probably don't need the bolster there. I'm just gonna flip around. Okay, you take your time to be on forearms, but you can come into bicep, tricep, fold through, arm into the chest. Nice and soft this time. So, because our nervous system flows through the muscles and the fascia, so myo muscles, fascia, then you might even start to feel, I feel a little bit more calmer. inside. 40% of our sympathetic nerves are closest to the skin and underneath in the superficial fascia. So if we're starting to feel like we're pushing ourselves or we're feeling a little bit more stress, then as we start to release specifically the superficial fascia, which we're getting into, going a little bit deeper for some of us, you'll start to feel the kind of calming nature of the nervous system because the fascia starts to unwind, become fluffy and hydrated, and then it stops squeezing on the nerves. Yeah, good. And then you're just going to rest. Arms out to the side, take up as much space as you want when you're done, not rushing you there. So we're just going to take about 20 or 30 more seconds here. If you haven't paused, you might just take a few more breaths and then pause just to breathe with the arms out to the side. Legs can be straight or bent. You choose what feels best on your lower back. If you have the knees bent, it'll actually create a little bit more ease in the lower back, if that's yours to take. Let at least one or two, even more breaths out the mouth. Just notice the sense of being in body. Arriving here, we nourished heart and that whole arm line. So everything through your hands, your lower arm, your upper arm, your shoulders, into the front of the chest is an extension of your heart center. Okay, your heart merges with the element of air, the air of compassion, forgiveness, and not only compassion to others, but starting with self. Just going to take another few breaths here. Bodies are just wanting to really revel in this. I'm just walking through studio. I'm just going to turn down the music a tiny bit. Okay. As I take a few more breaths, and I just make my way back to the mat, you are going to roll over to the side. Doesn't matter which side you go on. Whatever your top hand arm is, you're going to press into it and you're going to come and sit up for a moment. Okay, so wanting to just end class with going into a part of our body that we kind of skip over a little bit, and that's here. Yeah. So this is when the two balls are going to come in. You might also just have your ball. So we're going to just feel the top of the foot to start. And you're going to just roll, and this is going to be ever so gently. You're not even putting pressure, and you're just rolling the ball just through the top of the foot. So sometimes, and this is your top of your transverse arch, so right below the metatarsals. I don't know about you, but sometimes I get a little bit of holding in between my toes, and you can find some spots, yeah, that. Oh, okay, and this is the start, myofascially, muscles fascia that come up. So if you're tight here, then that will travel all the way up through your ankle, all the way into your shin, so tibialis anterior to your knee, and then fold through your knee, moving into the quad. And then you can go up just in your ankle, and then you can go so on the side body malleolus, so ankle bone. You can roll around that. So we have a lot of ligaments that bruise around that. And then you can go up the side of the leg. And some of you, this is where you might feel, oh, okay, feel some stuff here. You can go through the shin. I'm giving you different layers. Okay, and then inside as well. So just take a moment to play. I'll show this one first. So if you feel, so for me, I get a lot of holding on the outside. So you can take, I love the two balls, and you can take that on the outer leg. And as much pressure as you feel you want, always starting soft, you can just put your hand just very gently on the shin and the leg, and then you can roll up and down. Yeah, there you go. So I'm just sitting, I've got the ball under my right shin, left foot is on the floor, and I'm just rolling up and down. Yeah, good. And I'm just using my hand. There you go. Nice, Kathleen. Yeah, you got it. And then you can adjust it, and we didn't get to this one. Yeah, this is lateral line. Yeah, I know, right? And some of us are like, oh, this is good. I don't feel anything. And some of us are like, oh. So, any of us have had any sort of ankle sprain in our life? You're going to feel some stuff in here. If you tend to load in your feet on your gait, more on the outside of the foot, you're going to feel it here. And you can go all the way up to just below the knee. Okay, we are going to release the calf in a moment, but we're going to do the top of the shin. And this is only if you want. So this is a little bit more. So you're going to take your ball, okay, and you're going to have it on whichever leg. You're going to put that ball on your ankle. And this is only if you want. And I'll just move my bolster out of the way so you can see. And then you can allow the leg to extend down. So you have the ball, the center of the ball is in line with your shin bones. You can feel it. And the ball is rolling up and down along the shin. There you go. And you might have to move forward if you're close to a wall behind you. Yeah, there you go. I don't take tennis. Yeah. So go soft. Maybe this one's too deep, right? Yeah, good. Oh, I know, right? Only do for, and you could even, like for me, just going around the ankle. So good. Yeah, there you go. And then you might pause and go, okay, that feels like enough. We're going to do calves in a moment because we're going to come down to the floor. But I want you to do your other foot first. So just take a moment as you point and flex that foot, that leg, and just notice, oh, how's how's the difference? And then check, point and flex your other foot. Maybe point and flex them together. Okay, do you notice anything changed? I can feel a lot more energy and space, especially in my kneecap. Yeah, space and length, right? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, just a lot looser, more hydrated, right? Okay, then you're going to do other foot, and then we're going to focus on the calf to end the class. Yeah, we got time. We're doing really good in timing today. Everyone okay? Okay. Okay, so take some deep breaths. Let a few out your mouth. And go through top of the foot into the ankle, the shin. And just get that first inventory. Ah, how does this feel through the body? What do I notice? Yes, questions are good. Hopefully, I have the answer. Because it's Oh, is it magnesium? Yeah, it could be. I'm not, my expertise is not in vitamins, but I do think sometimes it could be a little bit of both. Yeah. Yeah. Like top of foot release. Yep. hmm So that shows you you're very held here. And so what we're doing now might be like really giving you a lot of feedback. Yeah. So, and feel free to roll if you want, how we did on hands and knees whenever you're ready. So this is going to be an area that maybe needs to be focused on a little bit more. I would also notice one of the things I've been noticing, and it's been kind of like every time I'm walking, really trying to be aware of like every single time I'm walking, of how you gait. And so, especially on both feet and, the heel strike, the transition through the foot, and then the toes propelling. So there's a push off at the end. So kind of being aware of that, but then also massaging that part of the body. And the other one that I do, and I do this in class, and you always come to the Tuesday one too, is every once in a while when I'm in my kitchen, every day I just do this. Yeah, I just do this every day and I count, maybe to 10, and then I do a few ankle circles, and then sometimes body goes, do it again. So I do it every single day. And it really has made a huge difference on the front of my shin. So if it's an area, it means more attention needs to come in on a daily or every second day at least, right? Yeah. Okay. Ah, nice. Good. How's that one feel, Beverly? Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Okay, so you can take your time to check in once again if you want point flex, point flex. Okay, the last thing we're going to do is calves. So no rush, but you are going to make sure that you have your block. Okay, and we're going to take the two balls and we're going to place it on the block. Now we're going to do this from lying down, but just want you to get situated. So you can start to feel even just a soft rolling and go, okay, that feels okay. And then you can lie down and you can just have the control. So I just tend to use my other foot to help me move around on the block, the ball, and you can slide your body towards the ball and the block so that you can move the ball down. And then you might find a spot in the calf that you just want to pause and just do a little rolling in one spot. Oh, yeah. Okay, and you can stay there with a little compression. This is called a pin and stretch. So I've kind of found an area where my body's like, okay, we just need to hang there. And so I've got my right half on the ball. I'm going to take only if you want a little bit more pressure, you can cross, okay, the other leg on top. And then you would go into what is called a point and a flex. So this is pinning and then you're stretching. And so what you're doing is you're allowing the muscles in the fascia to elongate. So these are deep breaths here. Yeah. hmm Hmm. So when we do this pin and stretch, we're taking the fascia kind of past its regular resting place, and then we're creating kind of a shearing effect from the superficial fascia into the deep fascia and then into the muscles. Good. And some of you might even just hang there in compression because that is a signal just to start to let the body to release, right? It connects into the muscle proprioceptors, allows you to be more aware of your lower leg. Maybe another kind of 30 seconds to a minute on this side, and then just pause and lie there and notice how you feel. Okay, so at least take about 20 to 30 seconds just to rest in between sides. Sheena, you came to the perfect class for you today. I know. I was like, when you walked in, and I was like, oh my God, you're gonna love this class. I was like, this was like, it was almost like made for you, right? Yeah. So your timing, your rhythm to shift into the other side. And it's going to be our last movement. And then you can decide, do I need any other movement at the end? So I'll just let you have ownership of that. Do you need a twist? Is something else coming in? Do you want to go back into a few stretches? Do you need an extra layer? Yeah. Okay, right now you feel it when you're pressing. Yeah, okay, this is good. This is good because now we're getting into that spot. Good. Reverberating up. So it's interesting. So the holding there is showing up in the hip, but where you need to release is down below. And that's what I was figuring, right? When we were talking about it and just watching how your body was moving, I was like, oh, there's not a lot of movement in the lower leg. There's a lot of movement in the upper leg and the foot, but that part of the body felt like it was holding a little bit more. Yeah. So isn't that fascinating? Yes. Yeah. Pardon me? Exactly. Yeah, you can. Yeah. So I know we hadn't even gone up. I was like, okay, we can do quad and hamstring next week too. But some of you who have the ball at home can then go into it. Yeah, with the block. Mhm. It is great because it gives that little bit of pressure, right? That you can not have to like force too much into. But yeah, same thing of moving up the leg and going into hammy. Yeah. Yeah. And then that same thing, you can lie. I like the lie down and just doing the point and the flex. But yeah, yeah, that same awareness. Yeah. And inside, yeah. No, I love all the new discoveries that are happening. Yeah. So inside, we didn't do a lot of inside, but inside is like, oh, is what hip bone. I know. I'm so happy though that you're getting that insight of where is happening. It's really happening here, but the pain, the sensation that you're feeling is manifesting there. Yeah. And it's an interesting one. Megan and I were talking about this because, a couple of us were in the fascial workshop that where we feel the most sensation in body is not always where we need to roll. Okay, so this is kind of what Megan's talking about that, she had come to me and said, oh, my hip and my lower back on my left side is really tight. And I was like, oh, I think it's actually, you need to roll in your calf is where you need to roll. And then, yeah, and then ankle. And so this is what is happening, this revelation, right? Yeah, is noticing, oh, when you roll there, how it's releasing here. And it's so far away, but all connected. Yeah, I know. I know. So great. And some of you are in the hamstring. And sometimes when we release the hamstrings, you'll also release a pull in the hip too, right? Because hamstrings connect to the sit bone and then to the whole area of the pelvic floor. Okay. So we do have to finish in the next little bit because we are at 10:15. I'm going to give us about 5 minutes just to find a release. So if you just want to go straight into lying down and take a few breaths, if you want an extra layer, if you need a few movements, okay? So just take your time. Ah, I'm going to be seated for the end, but you lie down, put your legs up the wall if you want to for these 5 minutes. Use a bolster, whatever you need, but allow your body to take up as much space as it wants. Okay, so if you have props that are in the way, just push them away so that your body can just open up. And then those breaths, which a lot of you are taking already in the nose and out the mouth to arrive here to fully receive the ending of the practice in Shavasana, corpse pose, this integration. Ah. And as we meet ourselves at this place of ending, and we feel just that kind of percolating through the body after the myofascial release and different asana postures we did and the breath. Sometimes we feel a little bit of tingling. We feel different temperatures. Okay, sometimes parts of the body feel really warm. Sometimes parts of the body feel cool. It can be like a fluffy or sensation of water moving, a little bit of sponginess. So just take note. These are all qualities that come in the body. And then all the work we did today was also to nourish the nervous system. So we're in that week before the full moon. It's our last full moon of the year, coming up next week. It is going to be exactly a week away next Thursday. Ah. And the piece I'm going to share with you today is by Rumi, and it's about change, which is a constant rhythm that's happening all the time. Try not to resist the change that comes your way. Instead, let life live through you. And do not worry that your life is turning upside down. How do you know that the side you're used to is better than the one to come? Try not to resist the change that comes your way. Instead, let life live through you. And do not worry that your life is turning upside down. How do you know that the side you're used to is better than the one to come? And take a couple more minutes of silence here. And just let the breath drop into its autonomic function. And it's just breathing through you. You don't have to do anything. Just let it have its rhythm. Hmm. So if you can soften one part of your body for this last minute just a little bit more. So can you take a little bit more space? Can you notice if one shoulder or hip is still hovering? Ah, maybe accompany that with an exhale at the mouth. Hmm. Thank yourself for being here today, for being drawn and guided to arrive here today to receive the practice, making whatever you need from the practice with you. And as you feel your body resting on your mat, connected with earth, and the free flow awareness of breath entering and leaving, and just allowing the quality that is present with you right now to come up with you as you start to wiggle fingers, toes. Let that slowly, at your timing, ripple into the arms and the legs. And notice, what else do I need? Is there a stretch, a yawn, certain movements that come in to connect you back into the wholeness of your body? And you'll take your time to release any support that's not needed and roll over to a side. You might hover there on the side body for a moment before you press the hand into the floor and come up. Good. And to sit, you can always find from the back of the hamstring sliding up, and you'll feel your sit bone. And if you just pull back, you'll feel the pelvis anchor. And then you can do it on the other side. So I'm just going to do it on both sides. Just kind of drawing back. Feel that rooting down. Legs can stay straight. They can cross. Arms can be out to the side. And there's a rooting down as you exhale out mouth. Rooting through pelvis as you inhale. Gather up energy, what you need. Palms touch. Exhale. Receive it. So you draw a line in front of face, throat, heart, upper and lower belly and pelvis. Touch earth as you inhale. Gather up again and receive. Your third time at your rhythm. Just pausing as palms touch at heart. Thumbs, hands leaning into each other. Sternum lifting up into the thumbs as the thumbs are heavy on the sternum. A few breaths. Notice yourself in your fullness. This air of compassion and release and nourishing that we did. As the eyes slowly open if they were closed, if the head was bowed, lifting up. Mm. I thank you for sharing your presence, your time, your energy, yourself. Thank you all for being here.